to study his word. Inshallah today, we can do Q&A today, inshallah. It was pretty hectic. There was a number of activities yesterday, was pretty hectic yesterday, so when we got back into Rafik, it's really burnt out. So tafsir called preparation course, so a good time to prepare, to condense and sift the information out, to give you just the essence of what it is, because there's so much information. So I couldn't get the time to do it yesterday, because we had the Imam's meeting yesterday, and then we had the presentation, and we had some other stuff, and then we had a Nikah evening, 2 Nikah actually. So we had quite a bit of activity yesterday, and I didn't get back in till after Isha last night. So it's good. By the time I get in, I was tired of it. So inshallah, today we do Q&A, general Q&A, inshallah, and then we get back up, inshallah, next week to finish the story of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, because we're wrapping up, stories wrapping up, so let's wrap up the story of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam before we go into the other story of Hud, inshallah. Before we open up for question and answer, I just want to also announce that the Mu'awan Muslim Outreach for Anti-Violence, the social welfare organization of which the head of, we have an annual fundraiser every year, a fundraising dinner at the Robert Treat. So it's coming up on the 7th of October. On the 7th of October between 3 and 8 will be the event at the Robert Treat. For the support of the Mu'aw, and this keeps you sustain the Mu'aw for the rest of the year, and paying our rents and taking care of all our stuff, and helping us to continue to keep our activities alive. Our guest speaker this year is Imam Abdul Malik. Everyone is familiar with Imam Abdul Malik. He will be doing he will be our guest speaker for this year, inshallah. In support of the Mu'awan program, and if you want to expand activities, we have the flyers available. Anyone, you can take the flyers or share them around, inshallah, and invite others. And I have tickets also available for brothers to purchase. We like to try to get our tickets out. We like to finish all our tickets out. So I'm hoping for the brothers to actually collect one ticket. Tickets are only $50, so, and you get a very good dinner. You usually get a very good meal. You usually have a very good program for the thing. And those of you who have attended, we have a very good program for the fundraiser. So inshallah, on the flyer you have a bit of Mu'aw on the other side, and the kind of programs that Mu'aw done. Services that Mu'aw do. Mu'aw has the academic services where you teach some important skills. You got life skills. You do training. You do business basics for the people who want to do business. And we have the technology area. Technical stuff where they teach the A+ program and the Cisco program and the security and so on. So these they're all industry standard programs. All industry standard programs. You can take your way up to certification levels, so you can go into those 6-figure jobs. So it's the program that we do. If you had to go and pay to do it, you can spend at least about $5,000 minimum. And we don't charge like that. We charge for $25 or $30, something like that, to buy materials and stuff like that, if you have exams and all of that. That covers those basic things. But other than that, you don't be able to pay for the program. So, you want to become a Cisco certified, you can do the program. You have those who already certified, or the A plus program if those who become A plus certified. And then also you try to help people get jobs also. So if you want to do anything in those areas, you know, CCNA also you can do that also. So CCNT and also anybody want to join the programs, it's free. Almost free. You can go out, you can come in and join the program. For the time being, our programs are done only in the evening, between 6 and 8, because we don't got the money to open during the day. We don't have money to open during the day, because all the teachers are volunteers. Right? All the teachers are volunteers that come and teach in the evening. Qualified people, but they have their regular job that they do, and then they come and they teach these programs. So they're qualified people, it's just that we can't afford to hire none of them because we don't got the money to pay them. So, but we provide the services that they are available, so yeah, people to utilize the services of MOAB. And if you can support the dinner by buying a ticket, spreading the word, or selling some tickets for us, inshallah. So just let us know. We have some flyers here. You can take them, inshallah. We have a lot more that you can take and put them out, inshallah. So that's for the advertising. So we'll open the floor, inshallah, for Q&A for any questions, and it's open not to any specific topic, so we'll open the floor, inshallah.
What heavens, brother, you feel me to say?
Yeah, you got no questions today?
I think I would have a question.
No.
I can share it. I can share some of the flies.
The ruling on leaving the masjid after the adhan is called and not offering the salat at that particular location. Because oftentimes you hear people mention that, you shouldn't leave the masjid after the adhan is called, and say things like that. I'm just trying to get some clarification on the rule of leaving the masjid after the adhan is called, but not performing the salat in that particular location, although you may go somewhere else and call them. Just trying to clarify that.
Yeah, the adhan is announcement for the salah. Right? It's an announcement for the salah. The salah is about to start. The time when the salah is in, and it's time to gather for the salah. That's what adhan is for. And so, when the adhan is called, you need to make yourself ready and go to the masjid. You should begin to make. If you're not in the masjid, you don't have wudu, go make wudu. Prepare yourself for the salah. That's basically what it is. The adhan is for, announce the time that the salah has come, so prepare yourself. And the iqamah is to announce that the salah is starting. Right? The salah is starting, get in the line. Right? So whatever you're doing, drop it, leave it, whatever you're doing, get online because the salah is starting. If you are at the masjid, you shouldn't really leave unless there is some genuine reason for you to leave. Right? Maybe you have to go to work, you have to go something, there's something beyond your control that you need to do. And at that time, you need to go. If you leave the masjid, you should leave with the intention that you're going to pray. It should be like, for instance, if you had to be by 4,000, the other, you heard the other here, but you have to go meet someone by 4,000. And you left the intention to go there and perform the salah there with that community there, and that jamaat there. But then it's okay, you're going to catch the salah. So you went from one place to the next place to the salah. All right? But as long as it's not that case, then you should pray with him. You shouldn't leave. The Prophet ﷺ talks about the adhan and the shaitan. And he says that the shaitan hits the adhan. So the shaitan hits the adhan. And so we as believers should follow shaitan at all. He hits the adhan. So whenever the adhan is called, the shaitan takes off running and passing away loudly and making noise so that he can't hear it. He don't like to listen. And if you go to the extent that he cannot hear the voice of the muadhan anymore, this is why the Prophet says, speak, call it adhan loud. Even if you're in the desert by yourself, call it aloud. Because the louder it is, the farther your voice will travel, and the farther away the shaitan will run, because he'll go until he can't hear your voice anymore, the voice of the muadhan. All right, that's how far he remembers. And he made noise so that you would not hear. And it doesn't come back until after the adhan is finished. Right? It doesn't come back around you until the adhan is finished. So the shaitan runs away from you. Right? So, you know, I have seen some Muslims, you know, they really, I don't call it run. Right? They always have something to do with the adhan. Yeah, there are some of us who always have something to do with the adhan as well. So you will leave and go because you have something to do, because really you're not really prepared to pray. You don't really perform prayer. And those Muslims who don't do that, then they're just following the shaitan. Allah Subhanahu says, do not walk in the footsteps of the shaitan. لا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. Don't walk in the footsteps of shaitan. He is not a model. Right? He's not a model for us to follow. We can only follow the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is the model that Allah said to follow. Walk in the footsteps of Allah. Don't walk in the footsteps of shaitan. All right. So shaitan, he runs away from adhan. So if you do not, it's not because you're going to some emergency, there's something happened. You know, even if the comma is given, or you got an emergency, you know, your house is on fire, your business is burgled, or something, you know, the emergency, you can leave it alone. Because emergencies has their own rules, right? They have their own rules. The emergency has their own rules. So even if you're in the salah, and someone calls and says, oh, someone is burglarizing the house, you can leave the salah, you can break the salah and go. Because you have to defend your business, you got to defend your home, you got to defend your family, you got these things you have to do. So yes, you can leave and go, right? You don't say, well, I'm praying, so it's okay. No, you can leave and go, all right? And there's no sin on you to do that, you just make it salah afterwards. But if there's no emergency, right? There's no urgency, or there's no emergency or even urgency for you to leave, then it is wrong for you to leave and go. If there's no emergency or urgency. If there is emergency or urgency, you're going because you're not going from the salah because your intention is to perform the salah. But your urgency or emergency, you know, takes you away from it. Other than that, just to believe, like I've seen happen before, they just don't want to pray. So actually, I've heard brothers make excuse. Yeah, I've heard people make excuse. You know, I can't pray. I have so. You don't give anything in preference to it, you know, unless it's an emergency or urgent situation.
Let me since we're speaking on leaving and prayer, what if you're in the ranks and you see something like like a child climbing up on something to get ready to fall,
Yes.
and you leave
There's
to grab
emergency.
him,
That's an
when
emergency.
you return back to the salat, do you return from where they're at, or do you have to start again from?
It depends, it depends on where you have to go. If it is in the same direction of the salah, like for instance, the child climbed on the member and the child about to fall off, and you step forward and save the child, you can step right back in the ranks and continue salah like nothing happened. But if you have to turn and you're the child scream, and you have to run up in the wall and go down for him because he almost about to fall the stairs somewhere, then you have to come back and you start from where then you pick up and you make it what you miss. Right, from there, because you have to start all over again. But if it is in front of you, like from the member or so, you don't have to, turn away from the Qibla,
I got you.
right? You don't turn away from the Qibla. You can go right back into the rank, and your salah is still, you continue like as though nothing happened. Right? So when there's an emergency like that, or you see a scorpion in front of you, you can actually kill it, or stuff like that, or a snake, and it wouldn't break your salah.
But if it's to the
But
left of
if
you,
you have to turn and go away from the Qibla, once you turn and away from the Qibla,
right,
because in salah you should always face the Qibla,
right,
right? You have your sadr, this part here, should face the Qibla all day. All right, you can't turn, if you turn away from the Qibla, then your salah would not be valid. Because Allah SWT says, "Tawallu wa shukum shatrul masjid al-haram." Turn your faces, at every time of prayer, turn your faces to the direction of the Masjid al-Haram. The Qibla, that's what we call the Qibla. Turn your face in this direction. So anytime you're going to pray, you're going to turn that direction. So anything that causes you to go away, turn away from it, it will break your salah. Because facing the Qibla is one of the prerequisites of salah. Alright, it's one of the, what we call the prerequisites of salah, the preconditions for the validity of the salah. So the prerequisite for the salah. So you have to face the Qibla all the time. So anytime you have to go away from the Qibla, it is after. But after the like that, so then you don't have to turn away from the Qibla. You can open the props or sometimes you pray, and if we had to let Shaitan, we will let it in or something like that.
if you do what now?
To let her name, for instance, a person or come to the door, and you can walk in the direction of the door without turning away from the Qibla. Right? You can do it. You can open the door for them.
Okay, subhanallah.
Yes.
I read that.
Yeah, you can open the door for them.
Yeah.
Because you're not turning away from the Qibla.
Right.
You just walk in the direction, open the door for them, and then continue praying. It won't break the prayer. But as long as you have to turn away from the Qibla, yes.
Does the distance make a difference?
If it is a very far distance, yes. But if it's just a short distance, it wouldn't affect.
I
Have a
want,
short.
I want to ask you a question. What happened when you come to the masjid and the prayer already in process? That they start already the first or the second rak'ah. What do? You wait until they finish or you join the prayer?
I join the prayer.
And what happened after they finish?
I owe that rakat.
You continue.
You make a
Right.
So that's the same thing. If you are being, I'm not going to say distracted, but if you see a situation which I'm not going to go into the extreme, seeing the situation and abandoning the prayer, but it happens sometimes that their kids are right there. The shaitan is using the kids to distract someone. All right? It happened to be you that you are watching that. So immediately before leaving the prayers, you have to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Because that safeguards you from whatsoever you're attempting to do. Once you save the child, if you see that you have to take the child aside or something, you already left the prayer. When you come back, try to find if your spot is available or you line up in another available spot in any row, and Allahu Akbar, and you carry on, and when you finish, you continue with whatever you miss.
Right, now. That's only if you leave the direction of the car.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if you turn away. Or you're traveling in car, plane or whatever. If you're traveling in, when your car is lifted, you can always, unless the rain is falling, because you can stop and pray. Right? You can stop and pray anyway. You can pray on the side of the road anyway. You can pray almost. When you're driving, right? Just find a safe place and pray. But flying in a plane, you don't have no choice. So you just pray where you are. You just sit in your seat and pray. You shouldn't get them on the island, block the island and stuff. No, just pray. I know in the Saudi planes they have a little place in the back, a little area in the back. You can get up and go there and pray. You can go there and pray. But there's only Saudi and I think Pakistan airline also has a spot on it for that too. But other than that, other airlines don't have that. So you can pray, sit on your seat and pray. If you as long you know you're gonna miss the time for the prayer, you know, and by the time you get where you are, the time for the prayer is gone. You pray and plane. No matter what direction the plane is going, it don't matter because you're fulfilling the prayer and its time is more important than that time.
You know, I wanted to like to,
I would like to add something into driving. I would consider it as a fatwa, even though that I don't follow it much. The person who had given the fatwa, his name is Sheikh or Dr. Muhammad Abdel Menem al-Birri, and he was, rahmatullah alayhi, an Egyptian descent, and he was the head of the High Islamic Studies in the Bangladesh Islamic University. And it happened that was like maybe 20 years ago. In the presence it was Sheikh Atanani, it was Abdel Khalid al-Naqib from Majid Omar, and his brother Sayyid al-Naqib, and a couple of people from the leading, figure from the community. And it happened to be that there was a brother, and maybe that Wazir would like to hear this. The brother, he used, his job is to be driving trucks and long distance. And he asked the Imam that they are compelled to drive certain hours and then they take a break and they have a log. And if they exceed that and if they are being stopped by the state troopers, they can get a ticket. So he said sometimes the prayer, it's already due. And he cannot stop. And he cannot stop. Can he offer the prayer while he's driving his truck? The Imam, he asked him the prayer, it doesn't take long. You don't have 5 minutes. He told him when you have a long distance traveling between county to the other or between state and another state, you are committed to time frame. You cannot really miss 1 minute. And the Imam, he told him, okay, so what is it? You cannot just lean on the side or something? You tell him no. So he tell him, do you have any cruise control in your car? And he tell him, of course. He tell him, my truck is like very much, you can consider it like a little airplane with the technology and everything in there. So he tell him, okay, as long as while you're driving, try to select an area, to be selective, to offer the prayer. Try to have a zone where there is no curves or anything. So this way you don't have to be using your hand or focusing on the road more. It's direct destination, all right? The road is just straight. There's no curves or anything. Offer your prayers and your cars in cruise controls, and that was it. But try to avoid that to the best of your ability whenever you have a shift or something while you are driving. Like, the time of your shift in the company that you are serving.
When I was driving the trucks out there, I've always found that I could stop for 5 minutes. Sometimes I would stop on the side of the road and just throw a prayer rug down on the.
The brother, I think he was trying to squeeze the Imam to give him that.
People will always try to help you because you could always stop and pray. And because you're at long distance traveling, you can combine prayers.
Right.
Right? You can combine prayers because at this time I'm going to be driving, I'm not going to be able to stop. Combine your prayer.
Yeah.
Bring your prayer or the Zohar prayer. And you can either delay it because the thing is, with the Jama, you can join it either way. You can join Zohar to us, or you can join us to Zohar. right? You can, so you can move
Look
it,
at that whole
you know,
space.
taqdeem or ta'khir, you can do it forward or backwards. So, and there's only 2 rakats per salah.
Right.
It's so convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, I find people, I mean, no, I think it's just excuse that people make,
Believe me,
that you
I
can't pray.
run exactly the same argument that you
I
have given the same.
I don't want to do it.
I was on the same track as you are, and then the imam, I asked him, how did you base up this fatwa? You know that this is a fatwa. I said, yeah, I know. And I tell him, how did you base it on? He said, I based it on the fact that the Prophet ﷺ, sometimes it was narrated that he offered the prayer while he is on the top of his camel.
Yeah, that did happen when he did sunnah only.
Yeah.
He did the sunnah, the Prophet did do sunnah right in his camel. But when he did before, he came off the camel like this before. Right, he made it full. But there is hadith, yes, that when the Prophet did sunnah,
Why the camel was moving?
yes,
Yes.
he's running the camel and while the
But that's
camel was
easier than the truck.
he was making it,
That's a lot easier than the truck, you know?
But the sunnah,
Yeah.
forward, he would always stop and perform the forward.
Yeah.
While the sunnah, sometimes he performed the sunnah while riding his animal.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
animal.
because 5 minutes will never be missed on that law.
Yeah,
They
so
don't,
that's,
you don't law, you don't law like that.
and listen, I think people just like to make things easy for themselves rather than thing.
Yeah.
And so they'll try to find some sort of
Yeah,
excuse.
if you want a cup of coffee here, stop.
Yeah.
What do you mean forward or backwards? You mean walk after before door?
No, forward and backward means you can join Salatul Asr to Salatul Dhuhr. So you perform Asr at Dhuhr time. And when you perform Dhuhr, mean for Asr at Dhuhr time, you call it Taqdeem. So you mean you're bringing it in advance and you're bringing it forward.
And
And if you make, or you commit Salatul Dhuhr at Asr time. Right? So you move the Dhuhr to the Asr time. That is called Taqkhir for Dhuhr. Right? So Taqdeem for Asr or Taqkhir for Dhuhr. So you can move the prayer forward or backward to these two prayers, just like Maghrib and Isha, you do the same thing with them, so that you can move it all to one time frame. Either bringing it forward, bringing the Asr forward, or pushing the Dhuhr back, or bringing the Isha forward to Maghrib, or pushing the Maghrib back to Isha time.
Is there a time?
And you can do this with the Salah as long as you are on journey, especially person driving in New York, interstate driver. You can do it for like you drive for 10 days, 15 days, whatever you can do that.
what's the limit on the
There's
distance?
no limit. You travel all the time. As long as you're in a state of traveler, as long as you consider yourself traveler, you're a traveler. So if you travel in one in the United States and it takes you 3 weeks, you know, you do it. 4 weeks, you know.
So
Unless you are stopping at a point where you have a fixed time, you know, like I'm going to be temporary resident. I'm going to stop here for 6 weeks. I'm going to stop here for whatever it is. You become temporary resident, so then you follow whatever the people doing
It
there.
has to be a certain amount of miles.
Yeah.
Right, you know?
I
It don't have
mean,
to
for
be from here
journey-
to New York. Like New York is, that's not considered.
Nobody like
travel.
a journey to New York City.
Right, that's a
Right?
certain amount of miles.
You make, you're not making, you don't consider it as a journey. If you go to Manhattan, you call it a journey?
No, I'm not, I'm
No,
asking.
no, say if you go to Manhattan, you drive to Manhattan, you're actually going in the city to shop.
Right.
You consider it as a journey? It's not a journey. Right? You're just going to do some shopping and come back. That's it. That's not a journey. A journey with you is a different mindset altogether. You know, you're going Buffalo. That's a journey. You might not come back till the next day. It's a journey. You know what's gonna happen. Understand? So you're on a journey. Alright? But you go to New York, you know, go to New York City. There ain't no journey, right?
Yesterday, man,
Not much of a journey.
Cheesequake, the park, they offered 2 selects together yesterday. It wasn't raining or nothing. I thought it was behind maybe bad weather. No bad weather, and they offered both selects together. That's not really a journey, right?
Who-
I don't want to say this.
No, but
that's it, but-
No,
Let me
where was
see.
they talking, he's asking where was they going?
Why I'm saying that, if they were going beyond
50 miles.
New York City and they stop in New York City and they make Salah, it's okay. If you intention first, you going up Binghamton, Binghamton is way up there, right?
That's-
Way up top
that's
New
the
York.
journey.
Binghamton, right? Speaking of Binghamton, the moment you leave your house and set out for Binghamton, you are on a journey. You are traveling, right? You are traveling. So, if you stop a Union because you had not, so you pull in by Union before you go and catch 80. You know, you pull in by Union. You can join your salah because you will be hitting the road and running it right through Door House till Maghrib time. You can, because you want to make some time, right? So you can join your salah even though you're in Union. You coming from North, it's just next door.
Right.
You understand? It's not because you are a traveler. You are headed to Binghamton.
No.
But if I'm just leaving from here and going to Union, to visit somebody
Right.
or over there, I can't join my prayer. Because they're just going there and coming back. It's just next door. Union is next door. But if I'm on a journey and I'm passing through Union, I can make myself, I can make join. Because it's a different state, it's a different intention. I'm a traveler at that point. But if I'm just going to the Union to pick up something or to meet somebody, I'm not a traveler.
Right.
I'm just going so I come right back.
Amen.
So it's different, the intention. What's the intention as a thing. So that is the basic guide you should have in mind. Although some people tend to put a lot of miles in, you should travel 40 miles and all that.
Right.
But I think the intention is better, you can travel 40 miles. The car say you can drive 40 miles, man, and you come right back. It's not much of a journey.
Yeah.
It's not much of a journey. 40 miles is not much of a journey today driving the car.
Right.
Especially nice roads we got. 40 miles in a camel or a horse or a donkey, I understand that. Yes, you're on a journey. If you're riding a donkey or horse or something,
Amen.
40 miles on with a car, you do it like that.
Yeah.
Like that, just like that you get there. So it's not really a lot of journey, But if you consider yourself, you're going for distance. Yeah, definitely. Now,
What if,
let's get the room first.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, talking about salat. There is a hadith that I think it's Ibn Abbas, I forgot, but about the tahiyyat, where it says Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu in the tahiyyat, and I believe it's Ibn Abbas. He said when the Prophet ﷺ was alive, they used to say Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu, but when he passed, they revert to assalatu ala nabi. Yeah, so this hadith is in our time now, which one is it proper for us to now maintain? Is it assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi or assalamu ala nabi?
Okay, that is a factual position of the companion. All right, you want to adopt his fatwa, it's okay. But the Prophet ﷺ taught when the companions asked him how to give salam to him, the Prophet says, Allahumma salli ala, assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi, when he made the tahiyyat, he says, assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Means the same thing. So, following what the Prophet instructed and taught the companion to do, adopting the fatwa of Ibn Abbas, and one or two other companions who took that, who did that also. That was their fatwa. There's a fatwa, really, then the decision. So, if you want to follow that, then it's okay too, because that is a fatwa. That, fatwa is not binding on you, but so if you want to follow it, you can, but you don't have to. It's not about fatwa is not binding on you. So that fatwa is not binding. So you can say it exactly as the Prophet taught. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And the Prophet says, salli alayya haythuma kun. You can make salam on me from wherever you are. فَإِنَّ صَلَاتُكُمْ وَسَلَامُكُمْ تَبْلُغُنِي because your greetings and your taslim reaches me. So it's, from that we can you can assalamu alaikum, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's some people follow the fatwa, not fatwa also. This is a fatwa of the Sahabi. Not all the companions did it. A few, one or two companions did it. But that was not the standard position. So it's a fatwa, they follow it, and I will follow it. Now,
So, okay, yeah, about the traveling prayer. If you leave and you get ready to go a long distance, and you leave it, and you hear the dawn for a door coming in, like your phone, you leaving the house, you hear that door came in. Can you combine the prayer before you leave?
no.
You got to be in the journey.
That's why I use the example of going to Union or stopping off in New York City. You must have left your house on your journey already. So you're actually on your journey. You can't, if Salah time come in and then you make the journey in your house and then you take off. No. You're not a traveler. As long as you're resident, you're either traveler or resident. Right? And once you're in your house, you're resident. You're not traveler. But if you, once you set up from your home with the intention of travel, you are a traveler. Right? So even though it's next, Union is next door, you can stop and you can make both salah. You can shorten and join the prayer there, yes, because you're a traveler. But once you're in your house, even though the time is in, you can join it.
You've heard.
Okay.
So, I was having a discussion, me and two other brothers at the match about marriage. And I was asking, well, he was telling me that you can marry for just sexual relationship, nothing else attached. So you tell him that you can do this. But I told him I never heard it. Just marry an individual, no food, clothing, shelter, marry a woman. He said that as long as you don't tell her. So he came back to me, I can do it different. I find out that. I said, wait till I shake that over.
I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. If you do that without telling her, then you marry by deception. There's deception. All right. There's no mut'a marriage in Islam, right? Mut'a, the only people who practice mut'a is the Shia, right? And they got specific rules for it, right? They got specific rules. I don't know the details of the rules because I'm not interested in it. I never really studied mut'a, temporary marriage. Temporary marriage. So they practice it. It's a practice from them. That they do, and they got certain rules and all of that, how to do it and all of that. As I said, I never studied the rules on how to do it because I'm not really interested in it as such. So I've never really studied it, but they got rules on how to do it, and they do it. All right? According to the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet right? There's one occasion that the Prophet permitted temporary marriage when they went on the journey, and after they was traveling long distances, and after that he stopped it. Right? The clear hadith that he stopped it. So we know that it is not according to authentic hadith, authentic Sunnah, and the Shia do not take authentic Sunnah. Right? That's why they continue with it, because they do not follow authentic Sunnah. Allah knows best what is their story, and that's between them and Allah. Right? And you're not here to condemn nobody. That's between them and Allah, like you do with them. Okay, on that, because they do, and they go into that stuff because they do not accept authentic Sunnah. All right, the few hadith, authentic hadith that they accept, they're reported from people like Salman al-Farsi and people like this. That they accept these hadith that when we found the Bukhari, a Muslim, they're the only hadith that they will accept. Because it's connected to Ahlul Bayt kind of thing, so they accept those hadith. But they do not generally accept hadith of Bukhari and Muslim. All the hadith that they accept of Bukhari and Muslim is reported by specific companions and is also in relation to particular topics. Right? They do not have, they have their own sources that they collect this stuff. So, a person who's Shia and they're following that internet to them, that's their business. Right? That's their business, it's between them and Allah and stuff, so I'm not into that. But anyone who is Ahlul Sunnah, who is following the Sunnah, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and every one of the Ahlul Bayt, the Ahlul Sunnah, right? That's one of the paradoxes of the Shia. That is one of the paradoxes of the Shia, that every one of the Imams, everyone that they declare as Imam, they were all Ahlul Sunnah. And they admit it. They were all Ahlul Sunnah. And I always ask questions, if the Ahlul Sunnah, then how come you get Shia? But that's not my business, that's not my concern. So, if that person is from Ahlul Sunnah, Ahlul Sunnah, then he has to correct himself. Yeah. Alright? If he's Ahlul Shia, well then he follow their rules and stuff like that, and deal with that, on the day of judgment, leave it all on that. But if you cannot, you have to make full disclosure when you're going to marry. You have to make full disclosure. This is why, for me, a couple, I make sure that they have full disclosure in front of me. Right? Before you marry. Right? Because you don't have full disclosure, and then, there's something that is there that should have been told in the beginning. Then that marriage is done on false pretenses, and the individual has grounds for divorce, right? Valid grounds for divorce. And sometimes it is really, it is not only, I think it is actually even sometimes what people do. And I've seen it happen in a couple of cases that happen. The brothers have health issues. He does not make disclosure. He might be carrying some disease or sickness. He doesn't make disclosure. And so, it make the sister sick. A case like that, if he was living in Islamic State, not only she has grounds for divorce, but also he had to pay compensation to her. According to, if she was in Islamic State, in the Islamic law, he would have to pay compensation.
Can you get
Because he made her sick, yes, he made her
get
sick.
locked up there? Or?
Yeah, Islamic, because you got jurisdiction in Islamic State, and Muslim state, you got jurisdiction. Here you can't do it, we have no jurisdiction where people can get away with a lot of stuff. We say we're Muslims, we believe in Allah, we accept the Quran, we accept the Sunnah and all of that, but we'll go against it because we know that Islam don't have no jurisdiction. So you can't impose anything on anybody, So we'll do it because we can get away with it. In Islamic society, Islamic Muslim society, it's not the same. You get, you got consequences, right? The consequences, you pay, right? Because they can arrest you, they can lock you up, they can fine you, they can, all kinds of, because they have jurisdiction. But here, we don't have, Sharia has no jurisdiction here. So, it's just the taqwa of the individual, who will guide you not to do stuff. It's just the taqwa in your heart. If you don't have taqwa, by that point of instead of, you just want to marry this girl, this woman to have intimate relations with her. Not for any other reason, you just want to have intimate relations, so you don't care about her.
I was surprised because the person.
That's not right.
I'm not gonna mention his name, but I was surprised to hear from him, and he brought some ayahs, and he brought majority of the.
What ayahs are? I'm not saying what ayah from the Quran you find, what hadith that says that. Which ayah from the Quran that says
I
that?
was surprised from him, you know what I'm saying? That's why I wouldn't mention his name, I said,
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dying bed, right? In his dying bed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his last advice is he says, "Istawsu bin nisa'i khayran." Right? Be good to the women for. Right? Then two advice he emphasized. And your salah. And salah. And salah. These two things, right? Don't ever neglect your salah and be good to the women because they're created from a rib. So there can be crookedness in them regarding to what you say and what you do. You gotta accept them and say, that's how it is. You can't change that. Allah made them like that. So be good to them as best as you can. Treat them with fairness. Treat them with kindness. Right? So are you responsible? Men are responsible for women. So you marry her. You're responsible for her. You gotta feed her, clothes and everything. You're responsible for that. You gotta feed her. You gotta clothe her. You gotta house her. You gotta take care of her. You responsible. What says? So you only young. You marry her. So you can sleep with her. Somebody gotta take care of her. What's wrong with you? What nonsense is that? Where and you find that?
And he bring an iron for it?
He said he's talking about her eye and stuff like that.
And then you gotta be qualified, the scholar was the only one, if I'm not mistaken, you meant, right, to give the tafsir or the
Yeah, but there's no ayah.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying.
There's no ayah or hadith that say you can do that. Yeah, you want her just to sleep with her like a prostitute and somebody else is taking care of her. There's no ayah that says that. There's no hadith, none.
In the same gathering with that imam, there was a man. It seemed like I don't know if he was your friend or he looked like him. He told the imam, it was the topic about traveling. He told him, Imam, our life is a journey. He told him, yes. He told him, so we are travelers. He told him, okay, what are you getting from there? He told him, can we take our prayers all qasr? The imam, he looked at him with a smile. You know what he answered him? He told him, go to the bathroom, refresh your wudu, and then come back and ask me again. So, with your friend, don't be surprised because that's a deviant question. The Prophet ﷺ, he was very clear, beside the statement that the Sheikh have remind us with, there was another hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, number one, marriage is a contract. And that contract of marriage, it was mentioned in the Quran. And the reference to that contract, right, it was equated to another reference to another contract which it was mentioned to the Quran. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He referred to that contract or that commitment or that bond between Him and the messengers and the Prophet. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. Al-mithaq, which is a contract, a strong commitment, a holy commitment. The same statement, the same phrase have been used between the husband, in the marriage, between a man and a woman. So that marriage is holy. You cannot play with it. The Prophet ﷺ, another hadith, he said, تُؤْخَذُ الْمَرْأَةِ, that the woman should be taken. Taken, it means to be married, to be taken into the contract of marriage. لِجَمَالِهَا, to her beauty. وَحَسَبِهَا, to her ties, who are her family, and وَنَسَبِهَا, who is she socially? وَلِمَالِهَا, if she was rich. وَلِدِينِهَا, and he mentioned the deen is the lesser thing. And then he came back, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he said, وَاظْفِرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ, but be a smart one or a wise one and take the righteous religious one. Over beauty, over family connection, over social prestige, over wealth. So, tell him to refresh his wudu.
No, I have a, okay.
My concern always been the marriage and the history and like the timeless, and I'm rereading the volume that I first started reading the 2 volumes of History of Islam 30 years ago, and I stopped at the Spanish Inquisition. And last 3 weeks I've been about the Jews, how the Jews, because I'm always asking questions about the family and the Jews from Mosul to this time. And I'm reading about the Spanish Inquisition when the Muslims took control of was dominant in Spain in the beginning stages of that. And the Jews and the Christians, they had a mutual understanding at that particular time. And we're talking about the marriage and the Shiites. And at the point that I'm rereading it for some reason. I started rereading it again like 3 weeks ago at the masjid, and I'm in the third, the same section from 20, 30 years ago when I started reading. I'm rereading it again. And they was disputing, and I think you mentioned it in your book, in reference to when the, I'm relating to this to the marriage of the Shiites wasn't practicing the Sunnah, and when the control of the Spanish was dominant and influential in the Muslim world at that particular time, they were ruling at a historical moment where the religious was together. All 3 of the religions was together, but the Christians was trying to dominate that. And then in the latter part of it, under the Ottoman Empire, and I'm still relating it to the marriage because it was different, the Ottoman Empire started dealing with the Christians to come to fight against the Muslims in Spain. And when you talk about the Shiites, was that part of the Shiites that split, that the Christians was going with the Ottoman Empire that fought against the Spaniards at that particular time? Because of the Quran and the Sunnah, because the Shiites, were they Shiites?
No, the Shia thing is something different. The Shia split is something different. It's not, and the Shia split start from an early time. The Shia didn't fight with the Muslims and the Sunnis in Spain. They fought in
But
other
that was
places.
the Ottoman Empire at the point where I'm in.
Yeah, the Ottomans are Sunni. They're not Shia. The Ottoman Empire run by the Turks, they're Sunnis.
Right.
Right? They're not Shia.
But why did they come against the Spaniards that was Muslim? They was Muslims fighting against Muslims at that
No,
time.
and it wasn't really the Ottoman. Like in Spain, Muslims fought against each other because it went off track. Once Islam established, then Muslims start to fight.
And that's the question I posed.
But it was not Shia. Muslims, because of the power position, they fight.
Caliphate was fighting over.
Right? Fight the leadership position, they fight over, and the Christians were able to get some, to join them and get them, keep them divided so they can fight. And the whole thing collapsed. That's what she collapsed because Muslims started to fight each other. Right? In Spain, the collapse started from there. There's not really Ottomans. There's Muslims in Spain altogether.
That's before.
They fought each other. When Allah blessed them with power, they fought each other offering. And that's what the Prophet mentioned before. He says, it is not it's not poverty that I fear, it's not poverty that I fear for you. What I fear is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to open the gates of the dunya to you, and you can fight each other over it. And that's basically what happened to the Muslims. It happened in now.
Well,
Look at the Middle East.
I posed that question in the
It's still going. So that happens. You Muslims, the Prophet mentioned that, that's going to happen. And so we can see it's going to happen. Because what the Prophet was, he made dua, and the dua the Prophet made was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not allow the Muslims to divide and split up. And he says Allah did not answer that dua. Right?
What was the dua again?
one of the du'as that the Prophet made was that to Allah that he would not allow his ummah to split up, right? And they all remain united, and Allah did not grant it to him. So that's why he
That
says
would've been nice.
that my ummah is going to divide into some of the three different sects. So that point of unity, that they were not divided, Allah didn't grant him. He made a reference, he made another dua, oh Allah, don't let my ummah be destroyed by ta'un, by a pestilence, epidemic. That epidemic wouldn't come and wipe us out by an epidemic. And Allah granted it. So the ummah, the Prophet will never be wiped out, but will never be wiped out by an epidemic. Maybe a group here, maybe a small group over there, maybe a group, but never. One also that we would not all become under the dominance of any tyrannical ruler. Some of us at different times will become, but not all. There will always, Prophet said, always be a group of us who will remain on the truth and stand firm. And they don't play. Allah grant him that. But the dua that the Prophet made for unity, that we remain always together, Allah did not grant him that dua. Alright, so you see, he can divide. And he gave us one of the reasons of division that we can happen is we can fight each other over stuff. Don't you basically? Power, position, what have you, and stuff like that, you know. And that's what really happened in Spain. The Muslims, after Allah got a victory and they became dominant and ruled Spain for almost 100 years, right? The Muslims ruled Spain for almost 100 years and brought enlightenment to Europe, you know, and educated Europe really and brought enlightenment to it. And that's why the Muslims fought and the thing, and we went backwards. They continued, and now people got turned to them. But the Muslims divided and they split up, and that's what happened. It's unfortunate that was the case what happened. But, you know, that goes on that fighting of Muslims against each other, we see it up to this day. Look what's happening in Yemen. Right? It's Muslims. Right? It's Muslims. You know, all the, you know, the tribal stuff is going on. It's not non-Muslims that fighting the Muslims there. It's Muslims. So that is going to happen all the time. It's all about power and position. Has nothing to do with Islam, nothing to do with religion at all. It's all about power and position. You know, you have tyrannical rules, and that go way back up to the time of the companions. Right? You have up to the Tabi'in when their companions were alive, and the Tabi'in. You had that started from way back up there. Right? From the time of Uthman bin Affan. From the time of Uthman bin Affan. It was not non-Muslims who attacked and killed Uthman. It was Muslims. It was Muslims who attacked and killed Uthman. And that was it. But once they did it, it never stopped. And once that happened, it never stopped. Muslims shed the blood of Muslims. Never stopped from since that time. Because up to Omar's time, it was good. The person who assassinated Muslim, Omar was not Muslim. He was a fire worshipper. He was not Muslim. What's his name? What was his name? Who killed Omar? Firoz. Right? He was Persian. Right? He was Persian, fire worship. So who killed Omar. But Uthman was killed by Muslims. Right? Those troublemakers. Right? Who like to, things had to go their way. Otherwise they came and they went and they killed Uthman. And that was it. From then, Muslims had fought all the time. You had Hajjaj bin Yusuf from the Umayyad. Right? You had the Umayyad kill a lot of Muslims. Hajjaj, when you hear the scholars talk about Hajjaj, the only thing they don't call him is a kafir. The only thing they don't call him is a kafir. Because he was Muslim, he used to pray people and everything too. But the man was a criminal, the man was a tyrant, the man was evil. Hajjaj was one of the most evil persons you can imagine. You know, he was like a hitman that the Umayyad used to use. Alright? So Marwan and them used to say, he was a terrible man, you know. He killed Abdullah bin Zubayr. Right? He killed Abdullah bin Zubayr. You know, Abdullah bin Zubayr was the son of Asma. Right? The son of Asma. Alright? And you know Asma radiallahu anha was the sister of Aisha radiallahu anha. So Abdullah bin Zubayr was the grandson of Abu Bakr. Abdullah bin Zubayr was the son of Abu Bakr. And he was the Amir of Makkah. Right? He was the Amir of Makkah. Hajjaj and them went there and they killed him. Right? So we had that for a long time. It can continue and it will continue until their judgment. Muslims will do that because they are not about deen, the dunya get into their head and they do crazy stuff. So, you know, today we got Muslims who do crazy stuff too. Right? We got Muslims today who do crazy stuff. You know, and it has nothing to do with Islam, that, or if it makes Islam bad or anything. But you can find some bad people among Muslims. There's reality, you know. What's going on in Yemen is heartbreaking right now. I mean, I'm talking contemporarily. What goes on there, yeah, it's heartbreaking. You know, there's killing, dropping bombs on kids and killing people and stuff.
This
like
is
that.
Muslims dropping the bombs too?
Yeah. Muslims killing Muslims right there. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, yeah. Muhammad, they're killing them. They're killing people. You know, what happened in Iraq? Muslims killing Muslims very often. It's not just Shia between Sunnis. It's also the same thing in Iraq. Afghanistan. You see it going on Pakistan. You know, Muslims do crazy. They got some. It's all about, you know, money and position and power, what have you, stuff like that. It has nothing to do with religion. It's an evil practice, an evil thing. All right? May Allah protect us. You know, I'm not going to serve you, but, you know, there's something going on.
I just got to ask you one thing. Say you have two residents, and going back to the you have two different residents, but most of your primary resident is here. And you got residents in a different country, a different home. You call yourself as a traveler, you have your other resident for a week or 2 weeks?
No. If you have two different residents, you have residents in two different countries. So you come here, spend some time, and some you spend some time there. Wherever you are, it means that you can be temporary resident.
So you can't generally.
Right? No, you want to because you're temporary resident here and you're temporary resident over there. So you go, you spend, you can spend 6-8 weeks over there, you come here, you spend 2 weeks. And that's your resident. When you travel in between your residents, you travel. But once you get to your residence,
You spend like
then that's,
9 months here and you spend 1 month there.
yeah, that, you know, thing. So when you're traveling from this one to the next one, yeah, you are traveling. But once you get there, that's your resident. You know, you stay there for a while, although it's a temporary resident. You know you're going to go and spend, you can go and spend 6-8 weeks
There's no
there.
difficulty in that.
Yeah, you know you're going to spend 2 months there, a month, 6 weeks, whatever it is. You know you're going to stay there for that time. So it's not like, you're going to just pass. No, you go and you're resident. So you're temporary, you're a resident, but temporary resident. Right? You're a temporary resident. And once you become temporary resident, you function like a resident. Once you become temporary resident. You know, because you know you're there for a fixed time. But it's different the way you go to some place, you're going on a trip, you're going to travel, and you went, you know, like go to the first, like if I want to go to Egypt, I'm a traveler, I go, and I intended to stay for a short while, then stuff happens and I get held up and they keep me back all the time, so I didn't get, you know, instead of spending a week, I was spending 3 months. My intention never changed from being a traveler. The circumstances stopped me from traveling.
But if you go on vacation to a different state or country,
Yeah, vacation is a traveler. You're still a traveler. Yes, you're still a traveler. you're a traveler, you know, you move from one place to the next. And then something happens, you can't travel, you know, you can't move, you know, so you're stuck for a little bit. You're still a traveler, even though you're stuck. You're a traveler, you know. But as you change your intention to become a temporary resident, then you follow the resident.
Did you go to Egypt recently?
Assalamu alaikum. My question will be a 3-in-1, but you can make it as short as possible. Regarding Eid al-Adha, when you're a participant of Eid al-Adha, and you have a brother or immediate family that drink alcohol, are you allowed to give him part of the meat, the carcass?
Sure.
Although you know that he is drinking?
Yeah.
And also...
His drink has nothing to do with giving him. His drink has nothing to do with giving
And
him.
also, are you allowed to give non-Muslim meat also? And my next one is follow up with, you know, when I was growing up, my grandparents, we cook a lot of the meat and we'll have guests coming over. My grandfather always put a bucket on the side because he don't believe that the bones from the meat should be discarded in the street or going to the garbage for the dogs and cats to get it. They have to be there, and then he will dig a hole and bury that bone. Because, so, those are the 3 follow-up questions that I have. One
I don't know what, you know, that you have to bury the bones and all that.
That's culture.
Yeah, I don't think about burying the bones.
I hope that sheep will grow.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the burying the bones part of it. You know, I don't really think of that. But yes, you disobedient son or daughter or brother or sister or uncle or aunt or whatever, they're disobedient, yes, to Allah. But can you be good to them? Yes. You can be kind to them? Yes. Can you help them? Yes. You know, because they're still, you know, they're still your relative. Alright, so you can good to them. So yes, you can, you know, you can share some of the biha meat with them. You can give it to them as a sadaqah. So you can give sadaqah, even though they're doing wrong. Because, you know, you can exhort them, advise them and stuff like that. But you're not responsible for their wrong. Right? You're not responsible. As long as you're giving them advice and exhortation and stuff. But be nice to them. You know, maybe they might listen to you, you know. You never know, they might. You know, listen to your exhortation.
Something
So be nice to them.
Take to mind. Have you ever asked your parents why they are burying the bones? I'm not joking. I'm serious.
Yeah, well,
What did they say?
well, I never questioned it, but I know from since I was
You
growing up
don't
at
know
home.
why they did it. You just,
In Guyana, when we do the slaughtering, we do it in the yard of the
Yeah.
masjid. So all the skin and the stuff that you would not use,
Yeah.
there's a hole they will dig and bury that part.
Right.
So it was a custom or practice, I think, that when
The reason I asked that question, I read some books coming from Iraq. These are not Shiite books. The reason from Iraq that there was a scholar over there, rahmatullah alayh, his name is Abdul Qadir al-Kilani. Abdul Qadir al-Kilani. And that Sheikh, rahmatullah alayh, he was a Sunni, of course, but he had a lot of books written about the jinn. All right? And one of the things he said that the jinn, their favorite food is the bones of whether cows or... And I just remember that I read this now, and you mentioned that your parents were doing this as a tradition. It might have to do with that. Out of fairness, I just mentioned it.
no,
All right?
there's a hadith. The hadith says that the bones of our domestic animals is the food of the jinn. That's authentic hadith.
Yeah,
Alright, there's authentic hadith that the bones, that's what the Prophet ﷺ says. You should not use bones to clean yourself when you defecate.
Yeah.
Right? Istinja, bones, you should not use bones for istinja because it's the food of the jinn. Right? The bones. I know that the Prophet said that. Why you bury them, that doesn't explain why you bury them.
I'm gonna tell you, I didn't
Explain
read
why it's
exactly,
buried.
but I read a lot about that area. All right? What I think is that I know, and that's what I read. I'm not gonna say we know because I don't know if any of you have been exposed to such material. Generally, they live underground. Some of them they live in the high seas, in the rivers, in the canals. Some of them, they are loose, walking. Some of them, they fly, all right? So maybe, you know, in their mind, as a tradition, I'm not going to say in the mind of your parents, may Allah have blessing on them, whether they are alive or they have lived the life, all right? They're understanding that the jinn only underground, or they're understanding that there is a jinn, and instead of living within our world, they live underground, under the house, so they give that to them as a sadaqah. Allahu A'lam.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I don't know what it is.
Since you are here in the masjid, and I see you offering the prayers all the time, I take it as your descent they were righteous like you. They were striving to be righteous. So I relate that your presence here to what I read, and I think that's what it is. Allahu A'lam.
Yeah, Allah knows best. Yeah,
Amen.
I can't put a thing to it.
Hey, ma'am, I have two questions. One question is, we're making congregation salat. A brother comes in late, and while the imam is reciting the Quran, the brother says, the one that came in late, he says, Allahu Akbar. Is that permissible?
You mean allowed?
Yes, out loud. He says out loud. Oh, while the imam is reading the Quran. Okay. And the second question I have is, when the Dan is being called and we in the masjid, is it permissible for us to talk while the Dan is being called?
First, in terms of etiquettes in the masjid have etiquettes. Right? There's certain etiquettes that you need to learn, and most Muslims, I think many Muslims don't learn the etiquettes of the masjid. First thing in the masjid, you're not supposed to make noise in the masjid in the first place. Right? In the first place, the masjid is not supposed to make noise. Why? Because the people there making ibadah. Right? And you can disturb people making ibadah. Some person might be reading Quran. Some person might be making dhikr. Some person might be reading, Quran, or, studying or something. Or some person making salah or something like that. You're not supposed to make noise. Even in giving the greetings. It said the Prophet ﷺ would come to the masjid and he would give the greetings, and only those people who were alert could respond to him. And who were not alert, he didn't disturb them. They were not disturbed by it because, he did not give that, Assalamu alaikum. Come in. Right? Yeah, scare people too. Especially when the salah is going on. The imam is reciting, you can make a bunch of noise like that. So when you come in, yes, you give salah in a moderate tone. Those people who are alert will respond, as happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Those who are not alert won't, because it's not enough to disturb them, but to make them think. That's how the Prophet made salah. Same thing for this salah. If you're in the salah, you don't make noise, right? Because you're following the man. So you don't make noise. You come in, you gotta say Allahu Akbar. You didn't disturb everybody that's in the line. Right? You didn't disturb everybody, not just the imam. Maybe make the imam forget what he was saying. You didn't disturb everybody in the line. No, come and be respectful of yourself and respectful of all the other people that is there. She make you make your turn and join the salah. All right. So you have to observe these principles when you come to the masjid, because the masjid has rules. They have etiquettes. All right. That's the first point. The second point is in relation to the adhan. The adhan is being called, and you have to talk something, you should lower your voice. Right? When the adhan is being called, and you have to speak or something, lower your voice. Right? But it is better if you not only listen to the adhan,
Repeat it.
but repeat what the Imam said, and what the Muaddin is saying, so you gain the benefit. As Rasulullah instructed us to do. Right? He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that when the Adhan is being called, listen to the Imam, to the Muaddin, and repeat after him. Right? And when you finish, make dua for shafa. Right? You make the dua and you gain the benefits from it. Right? So that is what we should be doing. But if you have to say something to somebody else, lower your voice and do it. If you don't want to gain those benefits, then you're discussing something, whatever, lower your voice. Because you should not, how people like, that's one of the things Prophet mentioned in the last, on the signs of the last day. The noise in the masjid. Right? We mentioned that as one of the signs of the last day, that there can be big noise in the masjid. People can make it, raising their voice, and sometimes, people, like after Salat, the Prophet says, I always, every now and again, I come and you get it like, what's wrong with you people? After Salat, make dhikr. But, sometimes, you finish soon as Salat, you think of the fish market. You think of the fish market. Everybody, no. The Salah is finished, sit down and make some dhikr. Sit down and make some dhikr. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says, when the Salah is finished, make dhikr. Right? When the Salah is finished, make dhikr. Standing, sitting, reclining, make dhikr after Salah. So, you Salah, you make some dhikr. Don't, as the Salah is finished, you start making noise and going on and stuff like that. In masjid, you should not make noise in the masjid. You have to respect the
Take that also, when you pray, I see some brother does it, some, and one time I asked a brother, why do we still in Saudi, go to make Hajj, people walk, pray Salah. A lot of brothers, they're just walking.
Walk in front of you. You should make a sit in front of you when you're making Salah. That's why you stand. You make a sit. Because if you stand in the open masjid, it is difficult, it's inconvenient for brothers to walk, and that you have to, so sometimes you might get someone. So it is better to make sure that you put something in front of you, either stand close to the wall or put a chair or something, so it does not inconvenience people that have to walk. Because once you got a sit in front of you, no one should pass between you and your sitter. Right? No one should pass between you and your sitter. They can go around and it's okay. So you should put something in front of you. Some brothers just stand up anyway in the open masjid and up there, and it's difficult for people because they have to pass. That would be the only way they could pass. And so they wind up passing, in front of you. So it's best to put a sitter. If a sitter is up, then you should let nobody pass in front of you, between you and the sitter. Right? You can block them from passing because there's a sitter. Let them go around. All right. So you should have a sitter when you're making salah. There is a hadith where it says that if the individual know what it is to walk in front of a person when they're making salah, they said you will wait for 40. Right? 40 days, 40 years, 40 ways. He said 40. You don't know exactly. You probably still make these statements like that and leave it open for the individual to your own imagination. Right? And leave it for your own imagination. You will wait for 40. And you let, so it's for the imagination. It's like there's something major. Right? Don't walk in front of the person. Once they have a sitter, you shouldn't walk in front of them.
Are you protecting the person or are you protecting yourself?
You're protecting both. You're protecting both. You're protecting your salah, right, from the individual cutting you off, and you're protecting them from committing sin, from getting a sin, from getting a sin.
You don't have to share with your keys or...
No, a keys can be sit. No, keys is not to sit. The sit has to be raised up or something, or it's off the ground so people can see it as a sit. You got a key that people know that, you put your glasses or something like that. It's not the sit. Syphilis should be something off the ground. So people can see it, you know, like he's praying there, so don't walk between them.
Sometimes little kids run by, and if you put your arm out,
Yep.
you'll hurt them.
No, but you don't hit the, you know, but a small child, first of all, you can't knock them down, you know. On an adult, yes, you can. But a child, because the adult's supposed to know better.
They don't wake you
Right?
up.
Yeah, but a child, you know, I mean, you know, you don't really, parents then need to tell children when you see some person praying, you know, because it's important to bring the children to the masjid, let the children come to the masjid. Right? So you shouldn't stop the children from coming to the masjid. Yeah, I know people say, well, don't bring the children because they get disturbed by the people. No. If you don't bring the children to the masjid when they're children, when they get big, they ain't gonna come.
Yes, sir.
Right? But when you come, teach them the etiquettes of the masjid. That's the whole problem. Parents will bring their kids to the masjid, but they do not teach them the etiquettes of the masjid. Right? Then if they go anywhere, if they go to school, they got etiquettes in the school to know what's supposed to be. They're not gonna run in the hall in the school. Because when they run in this hall in the school, they can get punished. Alright? You teach them etiquettes, that's all. The children, they don't know. And if you don't teach them and tell them, like, you know, when prayer is going on, sit down and keep quiet.
But if they're running, you just leave them be.
Yeah, but it's hard to you know, after he try to shoot him through,
Yeah.
and you put your hands on him, you can knock him down.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna knock him down. You can't do it to the children. You can't knock them down. Right? When an adult, yes, you can put your hands out, you know, box into your hands, you know, because he should know better as an adult. Then your brain don't walk in front of you. But for a child, it's hard to do that for a child. But parents need to teach their kids the etiquettes of the masjid. So when they come, when prayer is going on, you don't run around. Right? You don't pray, you don't play when we pray. When we're not praying, okay, yes. You can run and play, it's okay. It's like you run and play when they run and there's no salah going on, yes. The kids can run and play. And the kids, you know, as long as they don't run between the people, you know, when they don't think. Prophet ﷺ, grandson used to climb on his neck when he praying. Climb up on his shoulders and climb up on his neck when he going sajda and stuff like that. So he didn't stop them from coming to the masjid. So I went, I said, don't stop the kids stop bringing the kids to the masjid. Just teach them about the masjid. Let them understand what it's all about. Because let them grow up liking and loving to come to the masjid. The house of Allah. Teach the children to come. I don't believe in preventing children from coming to the masjid. But I believe in teaching them the etiquettes of the masjid, what the masjid. Let them appreciate the masjid. Let them understand what the masjid is all about. You know, so they can come, they can relax, they want to hang out, they can hang out at the masjid. Because when it's salah call, they can make salah. You know, as opposed to go and hang out somewhere else, you know, out in the street or somewhere, yeah. So bring them to the masjid, yes, you just teach them this. Carson.
I have a question on, question that to me and another brother relating to marriage. It was about Khula. I know of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where the woman wanted a Khula from her husband because she didn't want to respect him, she wasn't able to respect him. He took care of her, he did all the things that a husband was supposed to do. Prophet Sallam actually conceived, because I remember returning the diary, and he granted the separation between the husband and wife. I know relating to the Qur'an is a contract that has to be released according to the woman separating from her husband. The brother that was with me that day, he brought the point from Sheikh Farzan, Julie Kulin's book, where it says that it could be waived. I don't know if that's
What could be there?
the diary. If a woman wants to put that, it could be waived. I don't know if that, so I'm asking, is it a difference of opinion of that, or is it, what is
in terms of khula, yes, in khula the woman should return the dowry. But yes, the husband can leave it, he can let her keep it. He doesn't have to take it back. He doesn't have to, you know. She has to give it back and offer it back to him. Right? That's part of the khula. She give him back the dowry to free herself. But he doesn't have to accept. He can waive it and says, no, I mean, I can give you a full, but you can keep it. He doesn't have to take it. No, he doesn't have to take it. It's not obligatory on him to take it back. Right? It's obligatory on her to give it back to you. But he's not obligated to take it. He can waive it. He says, you know, okay, you keep it if you want. That is his prerogative. Because it is his right. Right? It is his right. So he can waive it and say keep it if you want. Right? And if she's been good to him, if she's been good to him, well, you should. You know, but but he can waive it, yes. He can waive his rights. She can't, he can waive his rights.
Question real quick, you know?
Yeah, that was, we think the last one, around.
Inshallah, I want to speak about the marriage thing. If you're married to one wife, is it true or false that if you want to get married, you have to tell your first wife that you're getting married to the second, or?
You should. You should tell your wife that you're getting married. Because if she see what a woman going on the street, you know, she don't know what's going on. You know, and that happens with all the brothers that don't tell their wife. And they find out. And it's serious. I mean, I know quite a few marriages broke up like that with the first wife.
I think that
Because, you know, he didn't tell the wife nothing. She didn't even know that the brother, you know, has another wife, you know.
yeah, Imam.
Stop right there.
I think the question he wants to ask is, do you have to have a permission? That's what he wants to ask, right?
He said he was
No, not.
Is that a question you?
Not permission.
not permission.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that's the question you want to ask.
Everybody know you don't have to take her permission.
Okay.
That's
Right here.
understand that. That's not a position. But do you have to tell her? Should you tell her?
Some brothers think you don't have to tell her.
It is in your interest to tell her.
Right.
It is, first of all, it is respect for her. Right? It's respect for her. And two, is safeguarding your own self. Right? Safeguarding your own self. Listen, I've known cases, your brother maybe, you might be scared to tell the first wife that you're married.
You say you should, but do you have to? That's the point of me. No?
Is it obligatory on you?
No.
No, it's not
As long as you give her the
obligatory
first
on
one, all right, you don't have to tell her.
you. It's not obligatory on you. It's true. But it is wisdom, yes.
No.
It makes sense and etiquette.
No.
And give respect where respect is due. Because like I said, if you don't tell her, and then she catch you in the supermarket with a supermarket shopping, what is going to happen? It's some serious fitness. It's some serious fitness. That's some serious fitness, right?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense. You should not create fitness.
Some brothers make the statement
And
that you don't have to tell
you should
her.
not do things to create suspicion. Prophet Sallam was walking his wife Safiya, you know, Mu'mineen, radiallahu anha. He was walking her back to her apartment, right? And the two brothers passed and saw him. And then they turned and went the other way. And Rasulullah called up to them and said, you know, yeah, Fulan and Fulan, this is my wife Safiya. Right? And they said, oh, Rasulullah, we didn't think anything. He says, yeah, you might not be thinking, but Shaitan is running in the veins like blood. All right? So, in other words, he's removing any suspicion. Right? That's Rasulullah. Removing suspicion. Now, I mean, you married this woman maybe 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many years you married this woman, and you don't even respect enough to say, you know, I got married, you know, I married this sister next week, or I married it. Yeah, you don't have to ask for permission. You should tell her. Right? It's only respect. But you don't tell her because, you know, you whatever is your reason, and you know, whatever is your reason, you don't tell her. And then, you know, she walk in the supermarket and she walking out with this lady. You know, and you know, or she walk up the cashier to the checkout counter, and then you pay for some of it groceries. You know, yeah, you can tell she's giving down. I just give her down. No, you got some serious thing on your hands. As I said, I've known marriages that broke up like that. That, you know, I've known actual situations. The brother didn't tell the wife that he married, but somebody else saw him and found out, you know, that he's married to this other woman, and came and told his wife.
Excellent.
That was some terrible stuff. The sister threw everything outside.
So be prepared
She
for
threw all that stuff
Isaac
outside.
there.
She took all that stuff and she threw it outside. You know,
Yeah.
big fitness. You understand? He had that. I said, well, you just didn't tell her. Were you scared of her or something? If you were scared of her, then you should marry her again.
You might be jealous.
What? What are you scared of doing for?
Ask your brother thing,
Huh?
he'll tell you.
You scared of her
As
what?
they-
No, you don't have to ask her permission.
Yes.
But you have
No, he has experience.
to tell her.
Oh, yeah?
To tell her. Don't leave it. You don't tell her. You're gonna have fitna on your hands.
It's a
You have
proper,
serious fitna on your
he's
hands.
talking about etiquette. Etiquette,
You should tell her, man. You should, you know, I mean, I don't
Major
even...
problems to do because
If somebody comes to me, a brother comes to me,
somebody telling them that.
If the
That's
brother
why the
come to me-
marriages don't work.
he come to me and say, like, I want to get married to this sister. And I know he's married to the other wife. I said, do you tell her? If you tell me no, I said, well, tell her I come back. I'm not going to marry him. Why? Because I'm not going to create fitna. I'm not going to contribute to the fitna. Go tell her. If you can't tell her, then you can't ask me to marry you.
He's gonna earn the hatred.
You can't ask me to, you know, because then she can come and blame me. You know, what's the me? And my wife will be on my back and I don't know. No, I'm not going to contribute to the fitness. Go tell her. Right? You don't have to ask permission, but go tell her. That is respect for her and respect for yourself. All right? So if you come to me and you want, and I know you tell her. If you tell me no, go and tell her.
And after
Otherwise,
that,
I'm not doing it.
if you ask the sister, if the brother, do you usually
No,
say,
it's not for me to ask her. I ask him.
take his word for it?
Yes, I asked him. If he tell me yes, okay. If he tell me no, go ask. Go tell her. Fine, now.
You mentioned something earlier, right? And I want to ask you a question on that, what you were saying. You mentioned that sometimes people get married and they don't disclose everything. And you mentioned like maybe if they had a contagious disease and they didn't mention this, right? Is this even permissible, even if the person knows it? Is it even permissible for them to marry?
It's up to the individual. A person should be able to make an educated decision,
That's way to change it.
right? That is their choice. You can make an educated decision. So you inform them what they need to know. If you inform them, they might, in their decision, decide, no, okay, well, I don't want to marry you. And that's okay, that's their prerogative, that's their right. But you should not take that right from them by not telling them. Because you've taken the right from them to make an educated decision. Right? And that's how we put, sure, but as I said, that is entirely up to them. It's a decision, a personal decision. You know, when the sister came to the Prophet for advice about marriage, two brothers proposed to her. And she came to the Prophet for advice. Because she don't know the brothers, the brothers' role. So, she asked the Prophet. Right? So she asked the Prophet about the two brothers. Right? Someone said, this brother, he doesn't have a lot of means. He's a good brother. We don't have a lot of means. So things are a little rough with him if you're ready for that. This brother, he's very well, he can take care of you well and stuff like that. But he had a character defect. He don't put down a stick. It means that he's a very harsh brother. He don't put down a stick. Meaning he's a very, tough, a very hard brother, So the Prophet ﷺ told her this so she can make an educated decision. Right? She can make a decision. Does she want to be this brother? She might not get all she needs from him because, he doesn't have a lot of means, but she can live with him good and he treat her nice, the best of his ability. or live with this man who's gonna lavish her and stuff like that, but then you treat you like a slave. You know, which one you want? You can choose it. She can choose to marry anyone. You tell her not to marry. That's for her to choose who she want to marry. But the Prophet gave her the information about both of them. So you have to make this disclosure so that the individual can know. Was it, you know, you let them know ahead of time. This is what you're going into.
And if you inform her and she chooses it, then that's not grounds for divorce.
That's for her, yes, she chooses. That's her choice. She chose to be with you. There's no ground, because you made full disclosure.
So she can't say 5 years later.
No,
she
5 years
divorced
later,
them.
no. She can't come back on that, no.
But once
Because you made full disclosure.
once you find out and you haven't told her, is that grounds for divorce?
If you didn't know, if you didn't tell her, she finds out, yes, it's grounds for divorce. Because you are false defense. Same thing for her. And this goes both ways, either her or him. It's grounds, you know, I mean, it's grounds for divorce. You have to let the person know what is going on with you. You gotta let them know everything. Right? And if you don't, then you know, then you got problems. You know, it happens. You know, because brothers don't do that, then they get divorced because they got something going down, or the sister got something, and you end up divorcing. And then they're going to marry somebody else again, do the same thing, and they get divorced. And they go like that, marry and divorce, marry and divorce, marry and divorce. You got too much marry and divorce going on. Too much of that, too much marry, you know, like that, because it's not right. May Allah make it easy for us.
Ameen.
Subhanakallah bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey, Hakeem.
Yeah, I'll be here.